Welcome to the Boom Bap Kingdom. Yo, peace, and welcome to the Boom Bap Kingdom. We're here, we're chilling. I'm sure you read that title, Why I Didn't Buy a Push 3. A few months ago, I did a video talking about it, and at the end of that video, I said that I would probably pick one up. Now, if you guys know, the Push is created by Ableton. The first two versions of the Push were controller-based machines. So you connected the controller to your laptop ran Ableton Live, which allowed you to control samples, make beats within the Ableton DAW. Now, me personally, I'm not really a controller guy. I'm more of a standalone sampler, sequencer, producer, beat maker. That is more my preference. I really don't like being tethered to a laptop or a computer. It just doesn't have the feel that I prefer. Now, Push 1 was devised and designed by Akai. Ableton broke that relationship when they made Push 2. Push 2 was still a controller-based unit, but they had all the design and all of the say in that unit and, streamlined it. And it had a very long shelf life with the Ableton Live updates. And then last year, Push 3 came out 2023, and I was really interested in that. You guys know I'm a big Akai Force user. I do like samplers that have more of a matrix kind of style, but when we get into the world of the Push 3, there are some major things it can do, right? The MPE is fantastic. The modularity is interesting. It has a hard drive, but no SD card, and there was no USB file transfer to and from your computer. You had to do it over Wi-Fi. There were certain things I liked about it and certain things I didn't like about it. Now, reasons to get that Push 3 is obviously the power behind Ableton Live. So the way they kind of created that platform, it's more computer based. The CPU, which is an Intel CPU, is modular. The RAM is modular, the hard drive, etc. So you can have that controller that's just a dumb controller with no intelligence, or you can take that controller and then upgrade it to a standalone with modular parts at a later date, or you could just buy it as a standalone. For me, the Push 3 really had a lot to offer. The way I choose what I'm going to buy is really a feature to dollar ratio. And then I look at my current setup and then I think about, how does this piece of gear benefit me? So when I looked at Push 3 and I kept looking at it, and finally I decided for me that I didn't really care for the file transfer over Wi-Fi only. I didn't care for the modularity piece, and I didn't care for how it rolls out with just live intro. So if you're not already deep in the Ableton ecosystem, this is a very interesting way to get you attached or tethered to that ecosystem. The Push 3 is super powerful. If you buy one, it's going to become your centerpiece if you like it and get good at it. More than likely, you won't use anything else. And I don't really want to work like that. I do like to jump from machine to machine because I think you can get different vibes, different sonics, different textures, and different outcomes when you use different samplers. But with the Push 3 in particular, I kind of felt like I didn't like the way Ableton was designing the business around the machine. It's a great way to have a machine with a long shelf life. But then now, if I'm already $1,300, $1,400 in for just the standalone, it comes with live intro, which is really not going to give you the functionality you're looking for. You're going to have to buy the live suite. And that is about another $799 or so, So we're getting into a very expensive ecosystem. And then I believe what the business plan for them is eventually they will reach a point where they're on a live version that the CPU in the Push 3 will not be powerful enough to run. That's when they're going to hit you with the modular upgrade. So now they're going to say, hey, if you want to run live version blah, 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 you need to get the new module for the CPU. And then that's an additional cost. Now, and again, that's if you want to run it in standalone. If you run it in controller mode, that won't matter as much as long as you have a fast computer. But if you run it in standalone mode, that's when this modularity thing is going to really kick in for them. And it's a way for them to extend the cost of ownership. So there's a thing called total cost of ownership, right? TCO. And what does that look like? When you buy a product, you kind of need to understand what the total cost of ownership will be over time. And I think with Push 3, they got it's really slick. It's kind of really subtle. And I don't really care for how they're doing that type of business. I find it interesting how other companies can create, if you take the Akai Force, for example, you can look at Akai and they simply write code that is adequate for the CPU and the RAM that already exists in the device. Why would you get to a point where your computer is too old to run that software? I can see that on a PC or a Mac, but when we're in a sampler sequencer, I don't really see why that would be the case, and I kind of see that's where they're going with it. So for me, yes, it's the MPE and all the wonderful things that Ableton can do is fantastic. But then when you look at the live intro and you're going to really be forced to get live suite if you don't have it, and the modularity thing over time when they get to versions of the software that won't run on that existing CPU, you'll have to upgrade that over time. Those are the things that I started to think about and say, man, that's this piece of gear is not for me. With that being said, there are alternatives. For instance, you can get the Roly keyboard. If you just want MPE, you can get the Roly gear, which supports MPE and is actually quite good. I do have a Roly and I really do like it. Regarding alternatives to the Push 3, you have the Force from Akai. You have the Polyend Play, Polyend Tracker Plus, the Synthstrom Deluge. All of those are fantastic alternatives. And the Synthstrom Deluge actually is MPE capable. So those are kind of my thoughts. I just kind of wanted to take a few minutes and talk about why I like the Push 3, but why I didn't get one. If the Push 3 is something you guys are using, get in those comments below. Let me know what you think about it. Again, I don't think it's going to be something I'll add. I really thought long and hard about it, but I will let you guys in on a little secret. I did pick up one of those alternatives that I mentioned, and we're going to do beats on that in the next video. So stay tuned. I appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. I appreciate the views, the comments. Check out the BoomBapKingdom.com if you're looking for sample packs, gear, merch, music. It's all up there. Street Scholar EP out right now. F7's coming. More beat albums are coming. Listen, we're here. We're having a great time. I appreciate you guys rocking with the Boom Bap Kingdom. And I'm going to leave you guys with a BBK salute. Peace.